talk of professional wrestling for a number of years, and it's going to be a very difficult match to beat, and that's probably why they put it off for a number of years. They didn't really know how to approach this match from a creative perspective because of how difficult it would be to top. This match, if it happens, the only way you're going to top it is by having a sequel at WrestleMania 31 the following year to determine who is the undisputed greatest, with the score being even 2-1, pending if The Undertaker wins the match at WrestleMania 30, which is the way I see it going, just to give WWE a reason to have a sequel between these two superstars. Now, one thing you will notice from the YouTube graphic is that we're promoting this match as a WWE Championship match with a very catchy slogan: the great one wins to become the one. I don't really want you to buy into the slogan immediately and say The Rock is going to be the one to end the Undertaker streak. I don't see that happening at all. I just came up with that as a creative slogan, and it's also being promoted as a match where the most electrifying man of sports entertainment will be going up against the dead man of sports entertainment. Both wrestlers have had very impressive career accolades. They have won the WWE World titles a number of times. They've been tag team champions. The Rock's been a WCW champion. The Undertaker's been a WCW tag team champion, and they both won the Royal Rumble match. With The Rock, he won in just one Royal Rumble match in 2000, and The Undertaker won just one Royal Rumble match in 2007. So statistically, when it comes to Royal Rumble match victories, they both only won one, and they have defeated a host of big names in professional wrestling at WrestleMania. But despite everything they have accomplished, they have never gone one-on-one at WrestleMania, especially when it comes to The Rock's career's accolades. He's defeated The Undertaker, but he's never been given a chance to go one-on-one with The Undertaker at WrestleMania, and that's why I want to put it over this microphone. The Rock versus The Undertaker is a match that needs to happen at WrestleMania, just like I did last week for John Cena versus The Undertaker. I'm doing the same thing for The Rock versus The Undertaker as a follow-up this week for a video blog on youtube.com/JonathanClarke22, the new YouTube One channel of HCW Entertainment with a new YouTube channel art and some new graphics. We've recently embellished a new feel for you. We're inviting you to let us know who you think will win this match. Who do you think has a decisive advantage? Psychologically, without question, The Undertaker has a psychological advantage because he's been able to play these mind games, and they've been very beneficial over the years from all the opponents he's had, especially in the mid-1990s, from Sid Justice to King Kong Bundy to Jake the Snake Roberts, who was actually tombstoned on the outside of the ring, one of the unfortunate few who got a very brutal beatdown at the hands of The Undertaker, and that was just at WrestleMania 8, the second victim of The Undertaker's WrestleMania win streak. And at WrestleMania 9, of course, he faced an individual who was considerably larger, Giant Gonzalez, getting a disqualification count-out victory over Giant Gonzalez. At WrestleMania 11, The Undertaker would make his WrestleMania return after being absent from WrestleMania 10 because of injury to defeat King Kong Bundy. In the mid-1990s, one thing you will notice about the storyline for The Undertaker's WrestleMania opponents was that he had a decisive and very noticeable psychological advantage. And will he have that decisive psychological advantage against The Rock? I think he will, because I think he's going to creep The Rock out on more than one occasion. Now, The Rock will not be intimidated by The Undertaker, but he will be creeped out by some of the things The Undertaker will do to kind of get into the mind of The Rock, and this will play on The Rock's mind, and this will cost The Rock the match with The Undertaker, probably because of the tombstone or the choke slam, with The Rock probably having to give The Undertaker 3 rock bottoms, and The Undertaker kicking out of virtually every single one of them, kind of like how Brock Lesnar dominated a certain portion of that match with The Rock back at SummerSlam in 2002. Now, a lot of people look at this three-way match from Vengeance of 2002 with The Undertaker, Kurt Angle, and The Rock for the WWE title as another victory for The Rock in their illustrious careers when it comes to matches with The Undertaker, but I don't look at it as a victory for The Rock over The Undertaker, because in that match The Rock defeated Kurt Angle as opposed to The Undertaker in that match. So that really isn't counted as a victory, in my opinion, over The Undertaker. So they're pretty much at a stalemate right now, with The Undertaker having a chance of evening up 2 victories apiece. And even though if The Undertaker wins this match at WrestleMania and becomes the winner of this match and goes to 22-0 at WrestleMania, there is a reason to have another match, and that match will determine who goes to 3-2 over The Undertaker in the past number of years, and who will be the undisputed greatest of all time. There are a lot of ways this match can go, and I just thought I would elaborate a little bit on this match because it has so much potential if it were to be promoted as a WrestleMania main event, regardless if it's for the WWE Championship or not, you really have to give The Rock and The Undertaker the benefit of the doubt. I mean, sure, The Rock wasn't there for about 7 or 8 years. You didn't hear nothing from The Rock. He did send a couple of pre-tip messages that he did from a teleprompter, but he was kind of coming back and forth to the WWE, and I really believe that WWE financed The Rock for a number of years, that he wasn't there for some of his theatrical releases. I mean, yes, The Rock wasn't there for 7 or 8 years, and it was believed that WrestleMania 20, the year The Undertaker fought Kane for the second time at WrestleMania, that match with The Rock and Mick Foley teaming up against Evolution was the final match of The Rock's wrestling career. That is what it was believed to be from wrestling critics and radio shows and columnists, and especially wrestling fans. And it seemed that way because we didn't see The Rock for a number of years. Then all of a sudden he comes back announcing himself as the host of WrestleMania 27, claimingly being back to defeat John Cena and become the greatest of all time by defeating the leaders of 3 generations at WrestleMania. You have to give The Rock the benefit of the doubt because he did defeat the leaders of 3 different generations. He defeated Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and John Cena at WrestleMania 28 in Miami in front of his hometown crowd, which had over 80,000 fans come out in support of both The Rock and John Cena. It was once in a lifetime, and then we had twice in a lifetime at WrestleMania 29 with John Cena finally defeating The Rock, having The Rock's return record go from potentially 5-0 to just 4-1. Now, The Rock's only lost once since his return, and be it that we haven't seen The Rock compete since WrestleMania 29, the chances of The Rock making a successful return by either defeating The Undertaker or defeating The Undertaker to win the WWE Championship, the chances of that are fairly high. But having The Rock win both the WWE Championship and having the distinction of being known as the man who ended The Undertaker's win streak at WrestleMania, I think that's handing The Rock a little bit too many accolades in one match. I mean, Shawn Michaels ending the career of Ric Flair, and then The Undertaker having his win streak and losing the WWE title both come to an end, are a bit too much in the way of accolades to hand to The Rock. So I think you really have to give this first encounter, at least, pending or not we see a sequel at WrestleMania 31, to The Undertaker, with how impressive The Undertaker's win record has been at WrestleMania, 21-0, with his most recent victory coming over CM Punk. CM Punk's come the closest to defeating The Undertaker out of anyone that he's faced, but seemingly that seems to have been a trend that's developed at WrestleMania. It seems like every year now The Undertaker faces, regardless of who he faces, someone who comes closer every year to ending a streak. And the question is, when will this streak come to an end? Or will WWE keep releasing DVD compilations of how many wins The Undertaker continues to accumulate at WrestleMania? I think that this is a streak The Undertaker should take with him into the Hall of Fame whenever he's inducted. Both The Rock and The Undertaker are future Hall of Famers, and they're known for different accolades in professional wrestling. It's written for The Rock to be the man who defeated the leaders of 3 generations at WrestleMania, just as much as it's written for The Undertaker to keep this streak with him when he goes into the Hall of Fame, whenever that's going to be, which seems to be getting nearer and nearer every year, although it's believed The Undertaker will continue to compete until he's physically unable to do so. He seems to be slowing down a little bit there in the ring, but you really have to give The Undertaker the benefit of the doubt for being a consummate performer. Both The Rock and The Undertaker are consummate performers, and there's really no reason why this match can't happen. I mean, they're both in the best shape of their lives. They're not permanently injured. There's not anything keeping them from performing at their best, like there would be keeping Shawn Michaels or Hulk Hogan from performing at their best if they were to return in 2014 for WrestleMania 30. I see a host of individuals coming back for WrestleMania 30, even legends we haven't heard from in years. Probably this will be the first time since Stone Cold Steve Austin's had anything to do with WWE since being one of the premier trainers in the premier season of Tough Enough, which we never did hear anything about back in 2011. Maybe WrestleMania 30, 3 years after Stone Cold Steve Austin left the WWE on hiatus. This will probably be a reason for him to come back along with a lot of other legends, but I mean, with all the legends potentially coming back for WrestleMania 30, why not start promoting The Rock versus The Undertaker, which would also probably have a great storyline to promote this one as well. I want your predictions. I'm going with The Undertaker because I've always been an Undertaker fan. That is one thing that I will never deny for you as a radio host and columnist over this microphone. I'm speaking to you as a wrestling fan when I choose The Undertaker, with how much I've supported The Rock since The Rock's return. I've done it on Blog Talk Radio, I've done it on YouTube, I've done it for my audio archives on my website, I've done it for podcast streaming, I've done it seemingly everywhere on the internet where I could use it as an open forum, always supporting The Rock, shoving The Rock in your face, week after week after week after week after week. I believed for a year The Rock was going to defeat John Cena in their first match, and I didn't want to believe The Rock was going to lose to John Cena at WrestleMania 29, but I had to come to terms with the fact that John Cena had to defeat The Rock, and The Rock had to go away because of an injury and to promote some movies that he had coming out theatrically and outside of the WWE projects, just as many other Rock fans had to, and there were a lot of pissed off people that The Rock was the WWE champion in that locker room, and that led to the decision to have John Cena win The Rock's championship, which he is right now defending at the up-and-coming SummerSlam against Daniel Bryan. And the fact that John Cena continues to defend The Rock's title leads me to believe that at some point The Rock's going to return, either to take that title back from someone like John Cena or just to promote WWE 2K14, which he's on the cover of, after making over $900 million worldwide. I mean, that is incredible. The Rock's made almost $1 billion from all of his recent theatrical releases, so why not have him on the cover of WWE 2K14, and why not promote him as a main event for WrestleMania 30 against The Undertaker in a match that needs to happen, and a match that has never happened. The Great One going up against the Dead One, with the Great One potentially winning to become the One. I don't want to buy into that slogan. It's just a creative slogan that I came up with just to promote this match. I've been talking about it for the past number of months, just as I had many fantasy matches for WrestleMania 30. Another match that I choose to happen at WrestleMania 30 has to be CM Punk versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. And although we may be a long way away from seeing these matches happen, you have to give them the benefit of the doubt with how consummate of performers CM Punk, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker, and The Rock have been for the last at least 20 years. The Rock's been involved with professional wrestling in 2013. This marks The Rock's 17th year of being involved in the professional wrestling business, making his professional debut in a Survivor Series elimination match as the sole survivor that featured Jerry Lawler and Crush. That goes back to show you just how long The Rock's been in professional wrestling. Crush is dead, and Jerry Lawler hasn't wrestled in God knows how long in a main event for a pay-per-view. The last time he was in a main event for a pay-per-view statistically was in 2011 against